Hi guys, it's me again, Carrie Silver Lining Mena for another episode of Carry On. And I don't remember being this nervous in the last season. Maybe I was, but I don't remember it. These episodes just feel so fucking intense. And I keep trying to do them, but the universe prevents me, whatever, it blocks me, usually by giving me really shitty sleep the night before. But last night I did okay. I fell asleep at 9 o'clock and I still woke up at 4, but at least I went to sleep at 9. I'm so nervous. I don't know if I'm nervous. So it's just intense. The things I got to talk about are really intense subjects. So let me just jump on in. Oh, wait, I got another thing I got to remember. Okay. Okay. So I took notes because I don't want to forget. I have them typed into my phone here. Um, okay, so I forgot to mention that. Okay, remember how I said like let's go all the way back to episode 2 with Larry, and he like came into my world through the public, me complaining about Trump's narcissism. And then, like, my mom, she came into my world through texting Robert, my husband. And then I forgot to mention this part. Allison came back into my world, not only through my group, but she messaged me in my, messenger, and I avoided it because I didn't want to deal with it. And I finally looked, not, I was a little bit curious, but mostly it was like a matter of like, dealing with my shit. I knew she was like an issue I had to like deal with. So I looked at it and it ended up just being a picture of us and I just ignored it. I didn't heart it. I didn't compliment or comment on it or nothing. I just ignored it. And there had been other people popping up from my past too that I just ignored, knowing that there was a reason for it, but mostly just to ignore them. That was the thing. Um, Somebody else recently popped into my message box, and because I was so fired up with my recent topics and recent inner work, when this person popped into my inbox, I had like still kind of a pissy attitude. What the fuck does he want? Is what I thought. And I kind of my first thought was, oh, is he going to represent Michael and be a one of my breadcrumb narcissists? Because I hadn't heard from him in, I don't know, I'm going to say a year, could have been 8 months. I don't know. Anyway, a really long time. I had messaged him this really long like explanation of something because I'm an over explainer. um, and he just gave me like a 2-word greeting, and it irritated me because I was already like irritated. And but then I kind of thought about it and I'm like, I don't need a representative of a breadcrumb narcissist. I already have a breadcrumb narcissist. So why is this guy here? And so I did a little inner working and I realized that he was meant to nudge me in a direction that I definitely went in. I figured it out. But it took me a while, and that's one of the reasons why the universe kept preventing me from doing this video. So what I thought at first was, I mean, actually, once I figured out why he was here, which was, I'm complaining about these narcissists and really letting them have it and telling my truth in these past couple of videos. But this guy that came back, I don't know if you remember this story because I kind of made light of it. I took responsibility and I took accountability, but not to the depth that I should have. And do you guys remember the story of when I was at a party? It was like 7 years ago, so you might not remember it. Um, when I got really fucked up and I bit this guy, I fucking bit him. And what happened was like, I was like very like, oh God, who the fuck is this? Hang on. Okay, I don't know who the fuck that was, but she might try to bother me again. Anyway, so okay, I forgot where all this was. Okay, but anyway, I got really fucked up at this party, and this was like 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know. And this is when my orange chakra was out of control. And there was this guy at this party. He's really good looking, and we knew each other from the internet and through like we knew of each other. So when we met, we hugged each other because I guess we had like a bit of a mutual respect for one another. I was electrified by him, and I thought maybe he was going to be the boyfriend that I've been chasing all these years because of my strong physical like reaction to him. And so after I had all this alcohol poured into me, I like got a little aggressive, and then again, I like kind of like minimized the experience when I shared about it. And again, I took accountability. I was an asshole. I did the wrong thing, but I was a little, jokey about it too. So when he popped back up, I started to put two and two together, the real reason why he popped back up. And it was to a get me to understand like why a narcissist does the things that they do and why they behave the way they do, because I have a narcissist husband and he's not a bad guy. Remember, I would say that narcissists, they're not all bad, they're caregivers, but there's assholes too. And my husband he's so sweet, he's so caring, but he did this fucking asshole thing and I wanted to find out why. And I was on a mission to find out why. And so this clue from this guy popping back in allowed me to find out when I was the bad guy and what motivated me to behave that way. And so, through a little bit of inner work, I realized that, I had been a victim of coercion so many times, even with that asshole love bomber. I don't even want to say his name because he just, ugh, I don't want to, but, that was like a repeat of some coercion. He did some just nasty, just gross sex stuff. I'm going to have to maybe like revisit that at some point. Like I'm revisiting stuff now, but that's not my path right now. If I have to do it again, I'll do it again later. Right now, it's like the whole like, why was I a narcissist? Why did I perpetuate the abuse? Um, and it's because, well, anyway, digging deep, I realized that the reason I minimized shit and kind of blocked it out was because of the shame I felt. And I saw this one reel one time and it spoke about something like the gist of it was I raised two kids, one's a narcissist and one's an empath. Why is that? So I started to look at my kids, and I know I have three kids, but Ryan, who's the boy twin, he's like middle of the road Ryan. He's like so chill. He doesn't do like pendulum things so much. He has his own challenges, but for the most part, remember I had like a miscarriage and then the kids came back as twins. So theoretically, he wasn't supposed to be here. It's just supposed to be like my boy and my girl. And so they're like my big challenges, or they have the big challenges in life. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, I know Bug is an empath, my daughter. So I'm like, did I fucking raise a narcissist too? Did he follow in the footsteps of his dad? And I'm going back of all of the things and trials and tribulations we had. And I kept like thinking about how maybe I was attributing some of his behaviors to his autism and his lack of self-awareness sometimes, or not, I don't know if self-awareness, but the awareness of other people. Like, sometimes they're like social cues and stuff is just a little bit different than other people. So I wasn't sure about some things. So I set out to have a talk with those two kids, and I got kind of deep with them about some stuff. And I felt really good about the talks I had with them and addressing like past issues and et cetera, et cetera. And so like my boy Josh, he did kind of at one point a long time ago when he was a teenager, he said some things to somebody that he knows was the wrong thing to do. And he had accountability like in his mind, and I knew he did too, but he never really knew how to like take the next step and make it right with the person. So I gave him some pointers about how to go about that, and he's absolutely going to do that. I know he won't. So I felt real confident in if there is some kind of like shift to be had to get him out of like this cycle of narcissism, I felt okay about it. He's going to be just fine. This kid's thriving, and I wish I could spend more time on just talking about what badass he's going to be, but another day. And then Ryan, out of the blue, he messaged me and said, "Hey, mom, I miss you. You want to hang out?" And I thought that was actually Robert, like maybe putting him up to it because he knew I'd been, crying and boohooing and feeling lonely for my kids. But no, he did it on his own accord, and we had a really nice talk too. And I'm going to share eventually, what he said to me, like we had this little, again, serious conversation, and he gave me the perfect answer, like an absolutely perfect answer. I wasn't even looking for that answer. It was better than I could have imagined. But and then with my daughter, I had a really good talk with her too, and she said all the right things. And so for my own like agenda, everything was going right. So I let that part go. I had a clear conscience again for my agenda, but then something started to happen, and I had a realization. And that realization based on stuff that my husband and I want to call him Robert. I don't want to call him my husband because there's been a shift in that too. Robert was telling me, giving me, he's really cracked open. I got to give him so much credit. He, um, he has come to see the light. He's having his own full blown awakening. And just like I had my like moment of seeing both perspectives of being like the narcissist that was so shameful that I made light of the situation and was jokey about it because I didn't want to experience the shame of the reality of what I had done to this guy. Fortunately, I mean, it wasn't like a radical experience. I know that this guy could have handled it, but still, the parallels of understanding how I perpetuated my own abuse and put it on somebody else and then joked about it. I get that. I see how it was a lesson for me. My husband's really seeing like all the damage that he's done, and he's coming so clean with me, and he's so grateful for me helping him unlock that door and take those blinders off. So much accountability is going on, but in that accountability he has in turn just so now he's got both perspectives. And I'll tell you the perspective, the other side is that it's not my son that's the narcissist, it's my fucking daughter. She's both. She is the empath because she's so sweet and kind and loving, and will just, she sees things from all the perspectives. But she's also, when it comes to her dad, she's given what she got. And she's such an asshole to him. She like jumps to conclusions, and he's always feeling like he's being accused of something he hasn't done because he's like, I don't know where she's coming. I don't get it. I don't get it. And he's messaging me and saying like, I think she's acting like a narcissist, and he's not pissed about it. He's putting his own clues together because of his own experience and what he's learned. He's like, whoa. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are being gifted the opportunity of, expansion and all of these things, perspective, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, you look at the silver linings and look at all this. He's like, oh my God, you're right. I mean, he's really embracing this. So even though he's like in turmoil right now, he's having faith, and he's like so determined. He's so determined. He's like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this right and learn and grow and repair the relationship with my daughter. I'm like, yeah, because I'm also pissed. I'm like, you better, don't you dare fuck her up and have her spend a lifetime sabotaging her relationships. And so he came over one time because he helps me with the more radical pool stuff. I'm a pretty good pool cleaner now, but I don't feel like learning how to do all of this stuff, so I let him help me. Um, so when he comes over, we talk about I forgot where I was going with that, but okay, whatever. He's just learning so much. And okay, I'm gonna put on pause because I lost my train of thought, and I don't want to just sit here and like spin around in circles. Hang on, I'll come back to me. You know it does. I have no idea where I was going with that. I almost started the whole thing over, but I'm just going to continue on. Okay, so figured out Layla wasn't heading in the direction of a narcissist, but okay, so I'm having a new starting point. So I know you guys didn't just have like a 5 minute pause like I did. So let me just jump in again with a new starting point, which is I have been also, I think I told you before in one of the other videos that I like latched on to these like general tarot readings on YouTube, and I watch them all the time. They're so interesting to me, and they mostly just provide validation, but there are like some little clues that you can plug into your own reality. Some of them are so fucking exact. I'm like fascinated by astrology and tarot. It's bizarre. I had no idea. I thought I was so fucking, special. Apparently all of the people born in April are having the same experience I am pretty much. I'm not that special. It's so weird how accurate that shit is. Okay, so in these tarot readings, one of the things that I picked up on, well, I didn't pick up on it, I mean, it's all over the place, that the Sagittarius, who is my daughter, and the Aries, which is me, we're going to, especially the Sagittarius, is just about to end the generational trauma. And the ancestors are cheering Sagittarius on. And so we are right on the cusp. My fucking kid is going to end it once and for all. I mean, we have a long line of narcissists. My mom was a narcissist. My husband, Robert's mom was a narcissist. My husband was a narcissist. And now my own fucking kid is turning into one, but she's going to end it. And one of the ways that's going to happen is clearly because my husband has ended the cycle on his line. He's doing his best to do it, and he's having so many regrets. He's like, I'm 60. I'm gonna be 62 in a couple days. I'm 62 fucking years old, and it took this long. And I understand because I have like the same kind of regrets. It's like I'm 54 fucking years old, and I'm finally figuring out what I want to be when I grow up. Still not entirely sure, but I'm getting closer. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. At least I got here now, and you love your kids so much, it's like at least she doesn't. I figured it out in time to save her. And when this happens, according to the tarot, there's going to be a major timeline shift. And I don't know exactly what that means for my daughter and my family. I am hoping, I mean, there is like one of the messages that I've gotten from readings is that as soon as she turns 18, or maybe when she graduates high school, because she turns 18 in December, that she's going to leave home. And I hate that. I hate that so much. I want her to stay home and stay safe. So I'm hoping that the timeline shift will keep her home so that she can stay there and be comfy and go to college and all that stuff. But I have to be open to the possibility, because the tarot readings also say that to Sagittarius, that somebody that you love may try to influence you to do a certain thing, but be true to yourself. So I'm not going to push my desires on her. I'll express them, but I will also express be true to yourself. Because I know in this life that she'll be okay. Follow your intuition. I've been doing that lately, and boy, has it served me well. I don't want her to listen to me just because I'm me. I want her to listen to her. Don't give your power away to external sources. This whole fucking life of mine, from Silver Linings from the very beginning, has been about self empowerment. So why would I want to take her power away, even though I'm coming from a place of love? Don't worry about that, girl. But at the same time, that's my 3D mama stuff. When I sit in my little cloud with my expanded viewpoint, I don't worry as much. Um, so another thing, Robert, every year on his birthday, there's always like some big old like blowout of some sorts, and it ends up being a backwards gift. And for the past few years, I've reminded him, I'm like, look, your higher self keeps arranging for you to have these fucked up gifts. They're real eye openers. Like I remember a few years ago, we rented an RV, looked like a giant baked potato down by the beach, and we were like in this huge fucking like almost hurricane. The whole thing was shaking, thunder, lightning. It was kind of scary, and we were fighting so bad, and we couldn't even sleep together. He was on one end of the RV, and I'm in the other with all the kids in the middle. And I'm Googling divorce lawyers. That's how bad it was. I was fucking done. And he had a major shift, and it came to see the light, so I gave it another shot, because what the fuck else was I going to do? I didn't really have any other plans at that point, nowhere else to go. My kids were, I was still feeling pretty stuck. And as long as somebody's willing to grow, I'll give them a chance. At least back then I would. I'm done with chances, though. I'm done. And he's growing, and I'll still give him a chance to be my friend. I'm not going to cut him out of my life entirely. In fact, I want to keep him forever, but not as my husband. Um, so I feel like even though I have a plan, so my husband Robert's birthday is coming up in a few days. So I have a plan to like maybe take him and my daughter out for a birthday breakfast and having a little three-way conversation and getting that ball rolling. They both know it's coming. It's not like a big surprise, but I feel like just because of this annual, big ol' epiphany he has each year, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. He's down for it, and I'm sure she doesn't want to do it, but I've convinced her that it's part of inner work, and you're gonna have to do it. She sees the way my life works and all of the synchronicities, and I tell her my stories and stuff, so she gets it. She gets how the world works, and as much as she wants to be in denial of it, when we had our big talk, I took her out to Japanese lunch, and I was telling her the stories, and she was like, "Well, why do I have to help him? Why do I have to deal with dad? I don't like him." And I'm like, "Well, you don't have to. First of all, you're not out to help him. I'm not asking you to help him grow. And you don't have to inner work through him. You can leave, but you're not healed. He fucked you up. So if you don't heal through him, then you're going to find another person just like him." Because she had a boyfriend that was similar to him. He was a really, really, really nice guy, a great boyfriend in so many ways. But he did that one thing, same fucking thing as her dad. And, so she's already had a taste of attracting the same vibration. I go, if you want to keep on attracting fucked up relationships until you do learn it, then there you go. You don't have to do the work with dad. Nobody's asking you to. But it's your work. It's not his. I'm not asking you to heal him. I'm asking you to heal yourself. And you may as well do it with dad. You may as well just get it over with him. He's a willing participant. And believe it or not, he's seen the light. She didn't believe it for a second. I go, you know you don't trust it because you haven't experienced it like I have. I go, but so trust mama. Trust mama. You know I wouldn't steer you wrong. And at the end of that conversation, she like broke down to tears and said something along the lines of, is daddy really coming back? Is daddy really nice? And she's like, I just like put a teeny, tiny sliver of a crack in that ego. So I want to like facilitate the healing between them, which I know has already started, but I'm really good with my words. He's not so good, and she's super pissed off. So I'm going to start it. I'm going to speak for both of them at first, and then I'm going to step out of it and let them continue the work, because I'm just going to plant that seed. It's not my work anymore. I'm a healer, but you guys do your work, okay? I did my part, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that this fucking shit's gonna come to an end, and it's gonna be good. As for myself, let me see. I think that's the main thing I wanted to talk about with them. Um, oh, I know. I have to go back just a little bit, because remember in the last video I mentioned that the Cassie Diddy and all that shit was coming back up. See, when that guy came back in, and I was like, what the fuck is he doing here? I knew that that was like he was like my Cassie thing, in that and I knew the bug she had to have some like, I just knew that it had to do with sex humiliation and stuff, um and she's had her own experiences, so I thought this video was going to be all about that kind of stuff, and that's why I was like, when I talked about the love bomber, I thought it was going to be all about that maybe later, but no, it was really about the narcissist stuff and being controlled and influenced by somebody else. And when it came to my son, I said that his shit was like from a few years ago, and remember all that Andrew Tate bullshit, and he got really sucked into that and feeling like unworthy, and so he just said something that was so like inappropriate, and made himself just be like so fucking creepy, that I know that he feels shame for the words that he said. And so, when he makes it right with this person, I know that the person will feel better and he'll feel better. So it will break that whole, shitty thing, rather than keep that shame inside. And so when this guy came back at me, when he came back into my inbox, I was able to explain things to him. I actually deleted my message because he didn't read it for a long time. And then he's like, hey, he came back and goes, I was just about to read that. What happened? And I'm like, well, my whole story changed. And so I gave him a revised edition. And the reason I'm not using his name is just out of respect. And I mean, I thought about it. I mean, I'm not saying anything disrespectful about him. In fact, he's so gracious. I'm so grateful to him. It's like I feel like he must be one of my besties on the flip side, because I have like so much shame and humiliation and embarrassment, and I ruminate about this stuff. He's like the person that you just like go, God, I wish I said that. God, I wish I didn't say that. God, why did I do that? He's that person for me. So I have so many embarrassing things when it comes to him, but he's always so nice to me. I hope I get to meet him again because I will give him a hug again. But hopefully, well, I know that my orange chakra will have been healed and I won't electrify and come on to him again. But I bet I'll get emotional because I'm very grateful to him. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? What minute am I on? Oh, I'm only on minute 25. Okay. Um, I do have a couple stories. I wasn't really sure all the things I want to talk about because I have a bunch of stories and I was like, how many can I squish into this one? I'll tell you like a quickie in the middle and see how I'm doing. I want to give an update about the guy that rear-ended me because one of the things the tarot said is that I'm going to be given like challenges to put my newfound skills into practice. And I have been given a few of them. So for now, I'll just share this one. I got my insurance settlement and I won. And what I won was my insurance gave me a check for $250, which was enough to cover the damage minus a $500 deductible. And I was pissed. I was so fucking pissed. I'm like, I feel like I'm being penalized for this guy rear-ended me. Why am I being charged $500 deductible for him rear-ending me? It was so unfair and I was so pissed off. I was like in a rage and I was trying to like be cool about it. It was like again for like 4 or 5 in the morning because I'm not sleeping well. And I was like just pounding my fist into the bed. I let myself be really mad and I just like let myself have a little tantrum and cry it out. And then I wrote back to the insurance company and told them how unfair it was and I really asserted myself because I had this little epiphany. My dad's kind of going through the same thing with an insurance company. And and I was like, you know what? Insurance companies are like fucking narcissists in that they're supposed to take care of you, and to a certain extent they do, but they still fuck you over and then shrug their shoulders. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. And I feel like sometimes they're just fucking lazy. Do your fucking job. Don't sort of take care of me, then fuck me over. So I got on my high horse and I advocated for myself, which is exactly what I was telling my dad to do. You gotta fucking advocate for yourself. Don't let them get away with that shit, which is kind of what he said he was doing, but I don't know the details. So anyway, then it happened to me and I had to practice what I was preaching. And guess what? I won. The other guy's insurance had to pay my insurance company back, and I got a separate check to cover my deductible. I fucking won. I fucking won. Oh, I did it. I applied my skills, and I didn't let that fucking uncle archetype make me feel like a teeny tiny nothing. Fucking kicked his ass right back. Motherfucker, fuck you. I won, you bitch. Fuck you. Oh, it feels good. Okay, carrying on. 28 minutes. You know what? That other story took so short. I'm going to share this next story because it's kind of. I have two amazing stories, but I'm going to go ahead and they're kind of stuck together and I'm not sure if I should like hang on, I'm going to pause again. Sorry. I got to think about if I want to like stick those stories together or not. Hang on. Let me do a think. Okay, that was just a really short think and I already decided. It's a really interesting story. It it's really is. So I want to save it and give it, proper time. So I'll go ahead and finish this with a couple of like instances of the serious talks that Robert and I have been having. And I've been trying to create core memories, really, really, really nice memories for my family. Because I know in my heart already, and I've been like following clues and old readings, and stars are aligning for me to move on. And I've been trying to make it real clear to him that the time I'm spending with him, I don't want to lead him on, but I do want to create a friendship with him because I'm not giving him up as my friend. He's worked really hard to change his ways and the way he thinks, and he really wants to be a better man. And because of that, I'm going to keep him in my life forever and ever and ever. And I had a little download of a vision of my healing room in the house that he's in now. And he calls it Grandma's room. So he leaves a space for me. I always have my own space to come back to, and it will be called Grandma's room. For when the littles come, I have my own designated space. And he's so sad because he knows that I'm not going to be his wife for much longer. And he cries and he just mumbles over and over again, your pajamas, your socks, your pajamas, your socks. Because he's going to miss my pajamas and my socks a lot. And we went swimming yesterday, and I keep giving him like these, like it's like he would talk about what it was like when he was younger and he just couldn't wait to get out of Alcatraz, meaning like his mom's home. Like he and his brother would joke that it was like Alcatraz, and then like later on in the conversation he'd say, yeah, but our life wasn't so bad together, we had good times, right? And I'm like, baby, that was my Alcatraz. And then you can just see his face just, get so sad because he didn't realize how bad it was for me, and his heart would break because he loves me so much, and he sees now how bad it was for me. And I said, I feel like I spent my life protecting the babies. And there were good times, there were, don't get me wrong, but there was so much stress and just me having to be on my toes all the time. And he has so much regret, so much remorse, so much sorrow. He is so sorry. So yesterday when we went swimming, I tell him that this house I live in, I feel like it's like a really nice habitat, but I feel like I'm like a lion in a cage in my nice, beautiful habitat. And while I was healing, it was a really good place to be. But now that I'm better, I just like pace around and I'm like a tiger, lion, whatever. I guess tiger. I don't know if lions swim, but they dip in their pool and then they pace around and then they lie down and then they eat and then they go inside and take a nap and then they do the same thing the next day. And it's really pretty, but they're not out thriving in the world. They're trapped. And that's how I feel. And then he talked about like retiring and what that would mean to him. And he was talking about it and that blah blah blah, and I go, well, when you tell me about how you're going to work on yourself, and when you do all your inner work and shed yourself of all your false beliefs and take care of your your hoarding and all of your stuff, and then you want me to come back to you, that's like me saying to you to come back out of retirement because the job got a little bit better. Would you really want to come out of retirement? And he's like, no, I guess not. So he sees it in my perspective, and he's so sad that, that's the way I saw our relationship. And he sees it though. And so he's hugging me, and he's hugging me so tight, and I'm hugging him back because I love him too, and it's so sad that it's gonna end. But it's not gonna end. It's just I'm sad for him. I see it in a new light, I see the friends that we're gonna become, the family we get to stay. But he's still feeling like such a loss and regret and remorse, and he's mad at himself, and but still understanding and trying to have compassion for himself, and so grateful that he figured it out before he died so that he can help his daughter, all that stuff. There's so much bittersweetness going on around here. So um so on the one hand, he's like in this place of duality. He's like, I'm never, ever, ever gonna let you go. But I love you so much. I want you to be free and find all the things that you deserve. And he laughs at himself. But that's where he's at right now. He's not ready to let me go, but he will. I mean, he doesn't have a choice, but he will be ready for it. So in the meantime, I told him, I go, I planned this trip for us, and I was scared that, you found out that I have no intention of, of being with you in the way that you want me to. I was afraid that, the old you may have accused me of using you for another trip or whatever, but really I'm just trying to grow our friendship, and I want to have these memories when our kids are getting older. I'm sorry I'm crying so much. But he was very understanding. And I said, there's more to my story. I don't know if it's the right time to tell you. And he goes, I don't know if I'm ready to hear it. I was relieved because he got so much on his plate right now. If he knew what I knew, and what I know are just clues that, plopped into my brain. There's nothing like, there's no actual real plans. Uh, but anyway, I feel like, just like beautiful mistress, like I'm about to be plopped into a different planet. Okay, so let me talk just for a minute about my health, and then I'll let you go. Um, my body feels so much better because of all my DIY physical therapy. I can't believe the amount of movement I have. My fibromyalgia flare ups have been at a real minimum. I go swimming all the time. I can't, I'm so funny. I'm out there in the fucking pool before the sun comes up sometimes because my sleep schedule is so messed up. And after I did that last video, the mama drama one, my jaw was so fucking tense. It hurt so bad. So I got my follow-up injections and it still didn't hurt. So I went again and got more follow-up injections. And that's been a week. I have to wait another week and see how that goes. I don't know if I can get more injections or not, or if I'm like, maxed out or not, but I'm still having the really bad TMJ pain. I'm telling you, my teeth are like turning smooth. I got smooth teeth. So I still have a lot of pain there. And I had like a gift card that I won from a beauty spa a year ago, and I waited a whole year to go to their pop party again to win another one. It's $100, so I could get like a real treatment because everything's really expensive at the spa. Well, I didn't win, so I went and got some beauty Botox too. And all I did was get like, look, I have like this wrinkle right here. This shit's not that bad, obviously, but I just wanted a little teeny tiny Botox there. First, she quoted me like $400 to get my whole forehead done, and I'm like, oh fuck you! My gift card's for $100. You gotta like, roll that way back. So she just did this little spot, which cost more than $100 somehow. But look, my whole fucking forehead looks done. I'm like Matt Gates. Anyway, it's a little bit much for me, but I don't mind. It's temporary. I'm glad to get that Neanderthal shit out of there. Anyway, I gotta get young. Because remember, my boyfriend that's coming my way is younger. Anyway, I'm transforming, and now that I know that, I've been grieving leaving this place, but I'm also getting excited for what's next. But also now what comes next is me having this fucking huge fear of, I can't just be like on the camera with bright lights and makeup with my camera at an angle. I'll have to be like the whole body, and I might even have to be naked. So now I'm hypercritical of myself, looking at the mirror and seeing how crepey my skin is, and I got fucking soggy knees. I never even gave two shits. I've been in survival mode for the past forever. All of a sudden, I'm like hyper sensitive of the way my knees look, and I'm freaking out about it. But on the other hand, compared to the other fucking shit that I've had to process and push through, soggy knees are small potatoes, and I'll take it. So I'd like to say that's where I'm at right now in my life, in my evolution, but it's not. I can't keep up with myself. I have like 3 videos that I got to get through, but the universe lets me get them out as I get them out. So I'm recording this today on June 17th. Um, I don't know when I'll publish it, probably within the next couple days. And things are just really revving up for me. I got some travels I'm going to do this summer. I think I'm going to move out of this house. And I don't know, I'll have my home base, grandma's room at my family house, but I'm not going to live there anymore. I'm about to become homeless. I'm going to stay at my dad's for a little bit, travel around. Hey, Europe friends, I'm going to come stay with you a little bit. My passport's about to expire. I got to renew that shit. I'm about to start brand new. I'm not scattering my glitter anymore. I'm about to take off. All right, you guys. Let's see. Do I have to say anything else? Let me check my little notes here. I guess not. That's enough for now. Whew. All right, you guys. As soon as I hit publish, I don't know if I have to publish it so much or just press stop recording with intentions to publish, because that means that I get to move on to what's next. Okay, guys, thank you always for allowing me to grow and heal and evolve through sharing my stories with you. Okay, thanks. Bye.